Hey everybody, welcome back to part 3 of the video. Before we run this program, I just noticed we made a mistake. So to set the text on the text view, it takes in a string value. So what we're going to do is we're going to repurpose this text number. So we're going to do text temp number equals string dot value of, and that's going to be the current value. And then we're going to set the text from the temp number. So what we're doing here is, let me explain this over one more time. So when we run the program, you understand what's going on. We're passing in the current text view. So team A text view. So when this button is clicked, this button has an on-click listener, which listens for when this button is clicked. We know this button is clicked because we're attaching an ID to it. So once that button is clicked, we're calling this method add1. It takes in a team A text view as a parameter. It gets the current value. So it gets the current value by using the get text value and then using the toString value to change the current value to a string value, and we're storing it inside this text number. Afterwards, we are converting the number we're converting the string value to an integer value because we want to add the value, add 1 to the current value. Regardless of what the value is, we want to be able to add 1 to it. Excuse my voice, feels like I might be catching a cold. Now, after we add 1 to that current value, we want to set that current value back onto the text view. To do that, we need to convert the integer value to a string value. So now we're going to convert this one should be convert string to int, and this one should be convert int to string. We're doing that by calling the string value on current value. And then we're going to set value on the text view. So we wrote that down so we are able to see what we're going to do. So I'm going to run our program. I am using a emulator so you can see what's going on my device. So the program is about to come up and start running. So when we hit this Team A plus button, our expected result is that the score increases by 1. So, hey, now if we press it again, 2, that's right. So now it should go up to 3, 4, 5, 6, which is awesome. Now if we press this button here for Team B, nothing should happen. And nothing is happening because we didn't set the logic in place for that. So you know what? Let's set the logic in place. So we're going to go back to our main activity.xml. We're going to look at the ID that we gave it. So team B text view and main activity B on 1 point. So we're going to go back here. We're going to create those text views. What we can do is just add on to here what we already have. So we can do, bring this under, and let's bring this under. So this would be team B text view, and then let's close this off. Then we could do the same thing here. So let's bring this under, and we're going to do team, it was btn team B 1 point, cut this off here. And then we're going to find those views. Actually, let me move this back up. Go down here. Let's keep a little distance. So team B text view equals text view find view by ID or dot ID dot team B text view. And then we have btn 1 point and set on click listener equals this. Now let's say if you was to set the on click listener but you didn't assign a case down here for that ID, what's going to happen is this default case should show. So since we're going to run our program again so we can see that happen, so let's go back here. This should go back down to 0 once this is done running. Our program is starting over. Oh, looks like we made a mistake. And our mistake is on the onCreate method right here. This is our mistake. Our mistake here is because what we didn't do was we didn't create the link. We create this link by doing button, by doing btn team 1 button, team B 1 point equals a button. We need to find that view by ID because it can't find it, because if we go down over here, it's on a no object reference. We need to create that link between the two. So it's main activity team B 1 point button. So we're going to run this again. And like I said before, if we attach this on click listener, but we forget to assign it a case here, but we have this default case, the default case will execute. So now we have our program up and running again. Let's wait for it to load. So for team A, I'm expecting this to change into a 1. Awesome. Team B, I'm expecting a pop-up message. Nothing's happening. So we put the default there just in case we forget to assign it a case. So let's give it a case. The case, we're looking for the ID of r.id.main activity team B 1 point. Don't forget the break. And we're going to do the same thing we did here. We're going to call this method add1, and then we're going to pass the parameters of team B text view. So it's going to get the current value from the text view. It's going to change that to an integer. Then it's going to add it by 1. Then convert it back to a string. And then add the value onto the text view. So let's take a look at that and see what happens. Let's go back to our program. You can tell it's loading down here. So now if we press team B, wow, team B increases by 1 and team A did not. We press team A increased by 1, but team B did not. So hey, this is working pretty good. Now let's say we want to reset. The reset one is the simplest one of them all. So we have to add on one more button. And this button, we're going to call it btn reset. And we're going to create that link, btn reset equals, remember it's a button. We're going to find the view by ID r.id.reset, because that's the name we gave it in the main activity. We're going to attach the on-click listener to its set on-click listener. Then we're going to go down here. We're going to create a case for it. Case r.id.btn. Oh, reset. The ID we're looking for is reset. Reset. Break. And the reset is just going to do the simplest thing ever. It's just going to take the current, it's going to take team A text view, take team B's text view, and we're going to set it back down to 0. So let's just do team A dot set text, and we're going to wrap set text, and we're going, I believe we have the 0 already in our string XML. So here's the 0 right here. So we just need to call this here. So we're going to do get string, and the ID is r.id dot 0. Wait, r dot string dot 0. Same thing for team B. Dot set text get string r dot string dot 0. And now we're going to run the program, and we're going to check everything one last time. So team A increases by 1. Team B is able to increase by 1. Both teams are able to increase by the value we assigned it to. And now for the reset, if we press reset, it's down to 0. Awesome, awesome. And then it still can go up by 1. But what's the point of this if we can't decide who's a winner? How do we decide a winner at the end? So you know what? Let's give reset more options. So for reset, let's see how we should do this. We should take the current values that's in both text views, check which one has a higher point value, and tell that one, hey, this team is the winner. So to do this, we're going to create another private void. Going to call it who won or who win. It's going to pass in no parameters. And then what we're going to do is we need to get the current team's value. So to get the current team values, we're doing the same thing we did here. So we're going to do string team A value equals, and we need to call that text view, which holds the value, which is going to be team A text view dot get text dot toString. And then we're going to do the same thing here for team B value equals team B text view dot get text dot toString. And then afterwards, what we're going to do, we need to compare the two values. So the only way we're going to compare two number values is by converting this to integer value. So we can do this a little differently than what we did down here by converting it directly to an int. We can convert that to an int using in our if statement. So we're going to do if team A, if integer value dot parse int of team A is a greater than integer value dot parse int of team B, we're going to display, let's just give it a toast. So we're just going to take this here, put that there, and we're just going to change this middle part right here. This middle part is where the message is going to be displayed. And we want the message to come from our string.xml file. And we're going to put string. But you know what? We have to display the team name. So yes, we're going to put string team A wins. So let's put that in there. Team A wins. And we need to do one for team B, so let's just quickly copy and paste this. Just change this to team B. Remember, in the strings.xml file, all names must be unique. Change this to team B. Go back to our main activity. Use the getString method. Then call r.string.team A wins. Because here we're checking if team A value is greater than team B. Else, going to have the toast again, .make toast, get application content, get string, or .string .team B wins, toast .length long .show. Now, we need to call this value here. So, let's take this here. We need to call this before the value is set to 0. So we're going to put this in front. So what's going to happen with the reset is that it's going to check who wins, display a toast for who wins, and then afterwards it's going to set both text values to 0. So you know what? Instead of having this here, we're going to copy this and we're going to paste it inside this method here. And inside this method, we get the current value, we compare the value, and this display message for winner. And finally, we're going to reset value to 0. So let's run this program on our phone and let's see what this will look like. Let's pop up the emulator. So it's still executing. So when these numbers change back down to 0, we know a new build has been added onto the program. Okay, our Gradle has finished running. It's adding on the new build that we just created. We're back down to 0. So let's just give this 1 point. This is team A. So once we press reset, team A wins, value turns to 0. What about team B? Change this, reset. Team B wins, value changed to 0. Let's give it 5 and 5. Now see, this case we didn't set up for if they're equal value. I want you to think about that and decide what you want to do if this happens. Because right now, if they're equal value, it's just saying team B wins because the value of team A, if this is 5 and this is 5, well, 7 and 7 now, because the value of team A, what we're checking for here is that if the value of team A is greater than team B, that's when team A wins. Else, team B is the automatic winner. So what I want you to do is come up with a good solution on how to fix this and put that in the comments at the bottom.